The Boston Celtics are ready to repeat, but we're hearing reports that they're still eyeing one player to secure that win. Miles Turner is somebody the Boston Celtics are keeping an eye on, especially if Kristaps Porzingis continues to not be healthy. With Derrick Jones and Jrue Holiday in the backcourt, their defense is stellar, but adding Miles Turner to be their defensive center would make the Celtics unbeatable. The Atlanta Hawks are trying to find a new identity around Trae Young, and what they need is depth on the defensive end of the floor. Trae's a terrible defender, and a player they're keeping an eye on is Lu Dort. With so many new additions to the Thunder's roster, Lu Dort could be the odd man out. And with Atlanta putting Bogdanovic on the chopping block, a swap for Lu Dort would be ideal. The Brooklyn Nets are in a full rebuild mode this year. They let go of Mikal Bridges this summer, and they're eyeing Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers to being their new superstar point guard. If Darius Garland continues to feel like the Cavaliers is all about Donovan Mitchell, which they are, Darius could be wanting out. For the Warriors, they want a star to play with Steph Curry, who is that realistic target. We thank SeatGeek for sponsoring Easy Buckets. The NBA season is just about to start, and you need to get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek because prices have never been lower. What's special about SeatGeek is they also sell tickets to concerts, any other sports games, any event that requires tickets. Get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek today. And I've got a promo code for Easy Buckets fans. Use my promo code Easy Buckets on SeatGeek and you will get $20 off your first purchase. The Warriors are eyeing Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler would be an insane target for the Warriors. Steph has played with the small forward star before, and Jimmy Butler would bring in a two-way player contribution to a roster that needs help. The Charlotte Hornets have LaMelo Ball back this season, and they're keeping an eye out for a specific center in the Eastern Conference. Jonas Valanciunas is the big man that they would like. A veteran big that can space the floor and knows what he's doing. He would bring in some veteran leadership to the young developing squad. The Chicago Bulls have been very busy this summer, letting go of DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso. But a player they're keeping an eye on is Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers. If the Lakers somehow target Zach LaVine, Austin Reeves will be in that deal. The Cleveland Cavaliers are looking for depth to surround Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, and the player they're targeting right now is Cody Martin of the Charlotte Hornets. The Dallas Mavericks have made a bunch of moves this summer as well. Bringing in Klay Thompson was their biggest addition, but they lost Derrick Jones Jr. The Dallas Mavericks want to bring back Dorian Finney-Smith of the Brooklyn Nets. They were former teammates before with Luka Doncic, and he would be a great replacement for Derrick Jones Jr. The Denver Nuggets desperately need shooting. After losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Reggie Jackson, the Nuggets are desperate for a shooting guard that can replace the contributions that those players did. Corey Kispert of the Washington Wizards is an under-the-radar shooting guard the Nuggets are keeping an eye on. He's a great wing player and a great shooter, and a simple swap with Zeke Naji would be incredible. The Detroit Pistons are keeping an eye on Lonzo Ball. If Lonzo Ball is healthy and becomes available from the Bulls, the Pistons want him to play alongside Cade Cunningham, bring in a defensive-minded guard in the backcourt, and it seems like a Jaden Ivey for Lonzo Ball trade could be possible. The Houston Rockets are thinking big. They're ready to jump the gun and push for the playoffs, and they're keeping an eye on Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns. If Kevin Durant becomes unhappy in Phoenix, we've seen him done it before in other teams where he would demand a trade. The Rockets would be coming in with a bunch of picks and of course salary matching options to bring Kevin Durant to the young rising team of the Rockets. The Indiana Pacers want a starting small forward to replace Aaron Nesmith to make them better defensively, and the player they're eyeing is Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic, who of course is getting paid in Orlando, but he is a great length player when healthy, a great defensive player when healthy, and that's exactly what Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam needs in Indiana. The Clippers need a player to help James Harden when Kawhi Leonard is out of the roster, and Jonathan Kuminga of the Golden State Warriors is their ideal target. Jonathan Kuminga is a rising star and can live up to the hype that Kawhi has, and of course with Jonathan Kuminga potentially being on the chopping block for the Warriors, his contract is expiring next summer. The Clippers are keeping an eye on him. Who are the Lakers targeting for this list? They're keeping an eye on Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls. If the Bulls start off the season with Zach LaVine healthy and they're at the bottom of the barrel, it might be good for the Bulls to let Zach LaVine go as fast as possible. And if the Lakers feel they have to go full throttle for a championship, this is where the trade comes through. The Lakers have to be careful though, because trading for Zach LaVine, you're gonna have to get rid of Austin Reeves, maybe D'Angelo Russell, a lot of your assets. So that's something to keep an eye on for the Lakers. The Grizzlies are keeping an eye out for Robert Williams of the Portland Trail Blazers. If Zach Edey proves he can't handle the starting center position, they're gonna need a new starting center to accompany Jaren Jackson Jr. The Miami Heat are keeping an eye out for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has always wanted to play in Miami, and if the experiment in Milwaukee does not work and Dame requests out, Miami wants to bring Dame in to the team he originally wants to play for. Speaking of the Milwaukee Bucks, the Bucks are targeting a backup point guard to support Damian Lillard. Ayo Dosunmu of the Chicago Bulls is a player they're keeping an eye on because they want a player off the bench that can support Damian Lillard and be a six-man figure, especially after Patrick Beverley left the team. The Minnesota Timberwolves are looking for a backup guard to support Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards. They're keeping an eye out on Bones Highland of the Los Angeles Clippers, especially if Rob Dillingham is not ready yet to contribute at a high level. The Timberwolves are ready to play. Bones Highland wants to prove himself on a winning team, and the Timberwolves could be it. The Pelicans are simply in need of a center. They lost Jonas Valanciunas, and they're keeping an eye out on Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks to be a floor spacer, to help the team on the pick and pop situations. Brook Lopez, if he wants out of Milwaukee, the Pelicans want. When talking about the Knicks, they don't need much this year. Jalen Brunson is happy with his roster, but if they want somebody, they need a player off the bench that can contribute to a championship team, and they're keeping an eye out for Jaden Hardy of the Dallas Mavericks. Jaden Hardy will continue to play behind Kyrie Irving and not get the spotlight, so if Jaden Hardy somehow becomes available, the Knicks could grab him for cheap. The Thunder are ready to win a championship as well, but they're keeping an eye out for Kawhi Leonard, bringing in a player to secure a championship to play with Shea. If Kawhi becomes unhappy with the Los Angeles Clippers, imagine a trio of Shea, Chet, and Kawhi. The Orlando Magic want Anthony Simons to be their starting point guard. They lost Markelle Fultz this summer. Jalen Suggs can't be the future star. Anthony Simons could be making his way to the Orlando Magic very soon. The Sixers were busy this summer getting Paul George, but what they need is more depth off the bench. Deni Avdija of the Portland Trail Blazers could be a great pick for the 76ers. Trade away your bench assets for a young rising role player of Deni would solidify Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid's roster. The Phoenix Suns needs more front court shooting. Their backcourt is solid with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. They got Kevin Durant on the roster, but Jusuf Nurkic needs help, and they're targeting Kelly Olynyk of the Toronto Raptors to be a six-man center off the bench that can shoot and score. The Portland Trail Blazers are keeping an eye out for Michael Porter Jr. of the Denver Nuggets. If the Nuggets are forced to trade MPJ due to the new CBA rules, the Portland Trail Blazers need a star they can build around, and MPJ could be the guy. The Sacramento Kings need more defense. They brought in DeMar DeRozan this summer, but defense will help them win games, especially because they have such a strong offense. Matisse Thybulle of the Portland Trail Blazers could be a great under-the-radar pick for the Sacramento Kings. He's known as one of the better on-ball defenders in the league. He could be a cheap, affordable option. The San Antonio Spurs want to go big with Victor Wembanyama on the roster. They signed Chris Paul this summer, but they want Trae Young. Trae Young is the perfect point guard to play with Victor Wembanyama, the smallest guard in the league to the biggest big in the league. Trae Young to the Spurs would be an insane dynamic duo. The Toronto Raptors need a lot of help, and they need a lot of shooting. They want Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat to come in and space the floor and support Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley in those pick and pop situations. The Utah Jazz want their future starting guard after losing Donovan Mitchell. They want Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls. Kobe White is the future of the Chicago Bulls backcourt, but the Jazz want him to play with Lauri Markkanen. The Wizards are targeting Moses Moody of the Golden State Warriors. Moody is the odd man out in the rotation. With how good Moody is and the potential that he has, the Wizards need a shooting guard they can develop for the future, especially if the Jordan Poole experiment doesn't work. So there you have it, every team's biggest trade targets this year to make their roster better. But the Warriors made a huge mistake not drafting Bronny James on draft night, because if they drafted Bronny, LeBron could have potentially signed with the team. We made a video all about this. Check it out. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets.